gentlemen, again, before we take the orders and ends of government,
welcome to Simply Bitcoin Live. We are your number one source for the peaceful Bitcoin revolution. We cover the fails from central bankers, breaking news, culture, memetic warfare. We will show you why only Bitcoin can give you true financial sovereignty. Today we have a very special show lined up. We have NODL on the show. This guy took the leap of faith. He moved to El Salvador, something that I feel like a lot of us are just like, we're seeing the clown world that's going on in Europe and the United States, and you're just like, oh, I kind of want to do this, but you haven't quite pulled the trigger. We're going to ask NODL what his experience has been living in the Bitcoin country in Central America. How you doing, NODL?
Hi, Nico. I'm great. What about you?
Happy to have you on the show, man. I'm very pumped. We're starting off the week strong. This is it's not the Monday special, it's just the Monday episode. But anyways, Opti, how you doing, brother?
What's up, guys? I am doing good. I just realized I don't have the right camera on, so I will switch that during the next segment. But I'm good. I told everyone in the space I overslept this morning, and I feel more tired than if I underslept. So it's just a good Monday, and here we are, continuing to give you guys a signal. Feels good to be back every week. We had a good show on Saturday, so and we're pumping. So hey, we're getting less sats, but hey, if you hold sats, feels a little better to be richer than I was over the weekend.
Not gonna lie though, I like when the price is down because then you get the cheaper sats.
Agreed. And this is what we're gonna talk about. This is what we're gonna talk about in the culture. You guys, I know you guys have all heard it. Your friends like, Bitcoin price is going down. It's going to X, and then they never buy Bitcoin, and then it starts pumping, and then they start chasing the price. So we're hopefully give you guys the sauce so you know what is going on out there, but hey, you can only learn by doing. But anyways, Nico, let's get into this one.
Anyways, yes, it's going to be a great episode. Let's find out how it is living in El Salvador. Let's do this. Number time. Brought to you by NODL. They make some of the best Bitcoin nodes. Run your own version of Bitcoin Core, the Lightning Network, Whirlpool, and Dojo, all from the comfort of your own home. Remember, guys, if you don't run your own Bitcoin node, you're trusting someone else's. And if you're a digital nomad, you have no excuse because now you could run a NODL through a virtual private server. Visit nodl.eu today. All right. At the time of recording, the Bitcoin price is $22,110 US sats per dollar, also known as Moscow time, 4,523. Block height, 753,812. Reachable Bitcoin nodes, 15,421. Blocks of the halving, 86,188. Halving estimate April 21st, 2024. Total Lightning Network capacity, 4,736 Bitcoin. Capacity value, it's over. It is over, ladies and gentlemen. It is over $100 million. It's sitting pretty at $104 million. Lightning Network capacity continues to go freaking parabolic. Glorious to see. Realized monetary inflation, 1.78%. Market capitalization, $423 billion. Bitcoin is still a baby. Anyways, I wanted to play a video, a legendary video. It has legendary status. It was making the rounds on Bitcoin Twitter over the weekend, and it is from the Bitcoin congressman, Warren Davidson, and he says something that we say on Bitcoin Twitter, but he said it in the halls of Congress. He said there's Bitcoin, and then there's shitcoins. Let's check out the video.
Highlighted a lot of background information about Bitcoin and about the immutable distributed ledger and the benefits of that, decentralization versus centralization. A lot of people in this space will use a phrase that you may be familiar with. There's Bitcoin and then there's shitcoin. Are you familiar with that phrase and what people might mean by that?
I am.
So could you elaborate on how people would differentiate the two?
Absolutely. I think the idea here is Bitcoin has had a long track record. The network has been operating for 10 years. The Bitcoin network has been tested. The decentralized nature of the Bitcoin protocol has been tested. People have tried to co-opt control of Bitcoin source code and push it in certain directions that benefit their business models. And this network and this protocol and its open source governance have withstood that test. It is robust, it has been tested, and it has had the benefit, frankly, of spending its first 5 years in its nascency, sort of operating in this environment of innovation and not having a lot of regulatory attention.
Is there a central authority that could dilute the value of Bitcoin?
No.
Is there a central authority that could filter transactions at Bitcoin?
No, that can only be done through the products and services that people utilize to access the network.
Like Coinbase, for example.
Absolutely. That is a U.S. company that is regulated based on the facts of what its business model is.
Right. And so just like in the U.S., the Federal Reserve or the Treasury doesn't change the dollar. The people at the edges, the banks generally do that. But with Bitcoin, you can still engage in peer-to-peer transactions like cash, correct?
Absolutely.
And because it's open source code, you could have a wallet, correct?
Absolutely.
All these features are different than many of the things that people call colloquially shitcoin.
Wow.
Mr. Robot, great observation. Shitcoin is in the official record. Yeah, man, look, the walls are closing in, at least in the United States, for a lot of these shitcoins to be offered or sold on exchanges. The SEC, based on Cynthia Lummis, was saying, Gary Gensler is definitely, they even opened a dedicated office to going after these securities because that's what they are. The only thing that might be spared, because it has enough political supports, because money talks in politics, is Ethereum. That still doesn't mean it's not a security. It just means that they've corrupted the fucking system. So I suspect, I'm calling this now, the big battle to come is going to be behind a centrally planned shitcoin called Ethereum and Bitcoin. I think that's going to be the head-to-head in the future. All the other shitcoins, I think, are going to be, the government is going to regulate the on and off ramps for those shitcoins. Therefore, the liquidity, the amount of capital that they have that the devs could rack in is going to be severely diminished. But anyways, I'm glad that the Bitcoin senator said in Congress what we've all been saying. There's Bitcoin, and then there's shitcoins. Opti, what are your thoughts? And then we'll move on to Money Delics.
Well, I love this video. Like you said, man, having a congressman, memeing, memeing on official record is just absolutely awesome. We say it all the time, and it's a Bitstein meme, the master of memes. It is our meme world, and everyone else is just living in it. Just, shouts out to Warren Davidson. Kudos to you, bro. There is Bitcoin and there is shitcoin. I say that meme almost every single day consistently. And hopefully one day people will understand that there is a fundamental difference between Bitcoin and shitcoins. And hey, like Mr. Robot said, it's an official record. There is Bitcoin and there is shitcoin. So shouts out to Congressman Warren Davidson. What a legend.
What a legend. Anyways, Francisco. Money Delics, what are your thoughts on this, my friend?
Yeah, isn't it crazy how far we have gone in such a small period of time? Like now, not only we are talking about Bitcoin in Congress of the most powerful country in the world, we are also starting to differentiate Bitcoins and shitcoins. So I think it's pretty crazy if you have a long-term view of what's happening, because people get scared about the price going down. Is Bitcoin going to succeed? I mean, isn't that obvious that it's succeeding big time? So,
and it's incredibly obvious that it's succeeding, but also, to kind of take the other approach, it also knows that we are definitely entering the then they fight you stage, right? Because the fact that this is being said in Congress, right, kind of explains why the U.S. Treasury sanctioned open source software, kind of explain, the hostility towards Bitcoin miners from that White House memo, kind of explains why Michael Saylor was being sued in Washington, D.C. And why is Michael Saylor, it's not only Michael Saylor that's being sued, it's also MicroStrategy. Why is that, right? And it's definitely because of what you said, man. It's because we're winning, and they know it. and they're scared. But anyways,
scared.
let's talk about El Salvador. Let's go to the news. Daily news. Brought to you by CryptoCloaks.com. They make some of the best 3D printed Bitcoin merch, from node cases to key rings to the vents on the back of your ASIC for air management, and of course the famous 3D printed Bitcoin grenade toy, which comes in any custom color your heart desires. You want it in gold, they make it in gold. And you can take advantage of the promo code down below to get 5% off CryptoCloaks.com. All right, guys, before we get to El Salvador, this is notable. I definitely wanted to talk about this today, especially with our guests. Dr. Bitcoin jailed for selling Bitcoin peer-to-peer, warns others. On September 5th, Hopkins announced via his Twitter account that he would be reporting to a federal correction institute for the crime of selling Bitcoin a few years ago. In 2019, the Financial Crimes Enforcement Network, a federal bureau of the U.S. Department of the Treasury, published 18 U.S.C. 1960, which requires the now well-known money transmitter license to be obtained by those who wish to sell Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies to the public, with a suggested penalty of up to 5 years imprisonment for selling Bitcoins without obtaining the license. That is absolutely insane, right? Wow. So if you just want to sell Bitcoin to someone, now you need a license. This is government for you. And I think it also highlights that the old system that had a middleman, which that middleman was a bank, whether it was a service like Venmo or whatever, is incompatible with the new system. At the end of the day, this is peer-to-peer. So are they just trying to make examples of this unfortunate soul like they did with Ross Ulbricht, right? With Ross Ulbricht, what they basically did, man, is that they put him in prison. They wanted to make an example of him. Silk Road was shut down. 4 or 5 Silk Roads took its place. So anyways, and then I'm going to tie it up with the sovereign individual quote in a sec. Hopkins reported that one of his past clients was under observation for suspected participation in a Nigerian lottery scam. The buyer originally told Hopkins that she was buying Bitcoin for her husband's electronic repair business, although she later told investigator that she was herself being catfished by a Nigerian. Charitably described by Hopkins as an unsophisticated user, he not only sold Bitcoin to this client on around 20 separate occasions, he also partially aided and educated her in best custody self-practices, as well as how to not trigger banking problems by using specific terms which could result in closure of her bank account. According to Hopkins, prosecutors later disingenuously charged him with teaching this woman how to commit bank fraud. That's crazy. They charged him with the crime for teaching someone else how to take self-custody. And again, I know what a lot of you guys are thinking. It's like, oh, but this had to do with the fraud. This had to do with whatever. Yes, that's fine. But what they're trying to do, ladies and gentlemen, is they're trying to set a precedent. This is how it starts. This is the slow creep. Remember the example with the Black Bank Secrecy Act in 1970, right? It was a $10,000 amount. Everything over $10,000 now has to be reported. But when they implemented that law in 1970, $10,000 was the equivalent of $70,000 today. And the reason that people were okay with it back then is because, hey, it's $70,000. That's not a big deal. That makes sense. The problem is that the law didn't change and the slow creep of regulation in government took place. And I think this is why it's so important to cover stories like this. He goes on to say, if we do not demand from our government that they change this law and the application of it, given time, they can come after every one of us. And I think that's absolutely right. Here's another piece of news from Australia. Australian Federal Police forms cryptocurrency unit focused on tracking and seizing funds. It's targeting assets, but it also provides a valuable investigative tracing capability and lens for all our commands across all our businesses, whether they're national security related, child protection, cyber, or the ability to trace cryptocurrency transactions across the relevant blockchains is really, really important. AFP Commissioner Reece Kershaw established the Criminal Asset Confiscation Command in February 2020 with the goal of restraining $600 million in proceeds of crime by the end of fiscal year 2024. Since February 2020, the AFP has stolen, not seized, $380 million in residential and commercial property, $200 million in cash and bank accounts, and $35 million in cars, boats, aircrafts, artworks, luxury items, and cryptocurrencies. And to tie it up, I'm going to read this awesome quote from the sovereign individual, that I think really explains what the hell is going on here. It says, weakened by the challenge from technology, the state will treat increasingly autonomous individuals, its former citizens, with the same range of ruthlessness and diplomacy it has therefore displayed in dealing with other governments. And I think that's exactly what's going on here, right? Now that money is disintermediated, now that it's incredibly difficult for a government to regulate, because yes, it's easy to capture a handful of banks, right? It's a handful of big banks in the United States, and the government sets up a compliance department in the back of the bank that no one ever hears of. The compliance department can't even talk to the person that you're talking to on the phone, which is why sometimes if you call and then you send a wire, you send a transfer, and that money is nowhere, you can't find it, and you call the bank and it's like, hey, what's going on here? And they can't give you an answer. That's because it's in the backroom compliance department. So banking, what it really is, it's a 2 of 3 multi-sig, of which the bank has a key, the government holds another key, and you own one key, and you have to ask for permission, right? Bitcoin disintermediated all of that shit. So now all of a sudden, you no longer have to deal with a service. You no longer have to deal with the bank. You could just have a peer-to-peer transaction. And in the developing world, that's the majority of Bitcoin transactions. They have giant Telegram group, giant WhatsApp groups, and they just say, hey, I'm selling this amount of Bitcoin. Someone buys it from whatever. Obviously, there's a good amount of trust there, right? But if you compare that to the West, I think we're so accustomed to having these developed financial rails that we don't mind giving up KYC information. We don't mind just buying Bitcoin on a platform, because at the end of the day, those platforms do make it easier, right? So a couple of things happening right here. Again, this is another example of the state fighting back, of the state saying, hey, we're the boss here. We still control things. We still get to dictate your ability. But I think as time progresses, you're going to see the rise of more sovereign individuals. We have one right here on the call today on the show. We have Money Delix that did exactly that. Said, hey, the United States or the UK or Europe, I don't really like it anymore. I'm going to pack up and leave. And that's what Bitcoin gives you. Bitcoin gives you the power to not only vote with your wallet, but most importantly, it gives you the power to vote with your feet. And what that's going to do is it's going to force governments to, hey, they're going to want to keep a lot of their tax cattle in. They're not going to want them to leave. And now with the internet, with Bitcoin, man, there's a tremendous amount of mobility. And I think what you're seeing now with all this news, whether it's trying to set a precedent, whether it's the Treasury Department trying to sanction open source software, whether it's suing Sailor, whether it's the Australian government setting up a unit specifically to steal people's property. It's basically the state going through these bargaining phases saying, hey, we're still in control here. We could still co-opt Bitcoin. We could still mold it to fit the existing system of control we have today. And I think that's exactly what you're seeing here. Anyways, Opti, what are your thoughts, brother?
Well, Bitcoin fixes this feature, not a bug. Like peer-to-peer transactions is not a crime, but we are all criminals by some laws. And of course, the governments are going to make us turn into criminals because they need that narrative of pushing, like Bitcoiners are criminals, like stop the escape doors. Again, I am always reminded of the Christine Lagarde quote where she says, if there's an escape door, the people will use it and we must stop them from using that. And just to echo what you said, like we are fully in the they fight you stage. Like the then they fight you stage is in full force, and these attacks will only get worse, not better. It's like right now they're doing the roundabout ways to attack Bitcoiners, paint us in bad light, try to make examples of certain people, and it's only a matter of time until we have a full frontal attack on Bitcoiners. And like I said over the weekend, it's only a matter of time until they blame Bitcoiners for their problems. And so, it's like this is an inevitability in my opinion. It's like we're not gonna what's the saying? Like they are not gonna go into that good night quietly. Like they're not gonna give up their power because, as we say all the time, like Bitcoin is playing for all the marbles. And if you are in the fiat system, if you are one of these Cantillon insiders, and Bitcoin is here to take your lunch, well, what are you going to do? You're going to protect yourself as best as possible and make the Bitcoiners look like criminals, because Bitcoin will take all the marbles eventually and fiat is trash. So like they know what's going on and they're going to try to stop as many people from going to that escape door. So,
100%.
It's just the inevitability. This is just a Bitcoin game theory playing out, and we just got to be prepared for it.
Exactly. We got to be prepared for it. And that's a perfect segue to Ask Money Delics. But first, I want to preface it from this retweet by Max Kaiser that I retweet. I rarely retweet things, but I thought it was so powerful. First, Marty Bent says, Bitcoiners need to stop trying to win the minds of the politicians at the federal level and focus on winning the minds of the people who are being subjected by the federal government. And Max Kaiser said this, and I really resonated with this. And this was after... The reason that Marty Bent said this, the reason that Kaiser said this is because this was on the heels of the news from the White House where they were basically saying, hey, if we don't get to regulate Bitcoin to fit our climate model that's currently sending Europe into the dark ages, we have to ban it, right? And it got, dude, and I got so angry because I see Bitcoin as the new American Renaissance if the federal government gets out of the way, right? But I think Max Kaiser hit something here, and it's so true. Vote with your feet. Move to El Salvador. El Salvador is Bitcoin country. And that's exactly what Francisco did. This is exactly what Money Delics did. So why did you do this, man? What inspired you to get the hell out of the United States? What got into you, brother?
Yeah, so there are 3 ways to vote. Okay, one is when there are the elections, if you believe in it. The other one is with money, and they are not making that possible anymore because they're going to tell you what to eat, what not to eat, what car you can buy, what you cannot buy, how you can use your energy, or even now they're trying to tell you what can you do with your Bitcoin, with your property, which is pretty scary at this point. And the third way to vote is with your feet. And El Salvador seems to be the last beacon of hope for sovereignty at this point, because I think things will get ugly before they get better. So, yeah.
Is that why you left?
So initially, my wife and I were just looking for a plan B. So we learned about El Salvador, and we came here to visit El Salvador to see how was the country, if we felt safe here. We have 2 kids. But then what happened is that during our exploratory week, 2 days in for my wife and 3 days in for me, we realized we could live here. It's actually pretty nice. Of course, there are challenges. It's a developing country. It's not Florida, where we came from, but it's definitely feasible. And so what happened is that we went back to Florida, and we started selling slowly our thing. We started to get ready because we still had our lease, our rental contract for another month and a half or 2 months. But a few days after, we look at each other, my wife and I, and we realized there's nothing left for us here. Plus, the elections are coming up, and we don't even know what is going to happen. So I'm not going to renew a contract for a year, and I don't know what's going to happen in November. So we just decided to get rid of everything as fast as possible. We sold some things, but we mostly donate everything to some friends there. And also, we had a lot of food that we were stacking up because of food shortages, concerns that are still happening right now. And so we gave away everything. We booked a flight, and we were right back here. So, yeah, and definitely Bitcoin actually grew on me while I was here, because yes, I am helping El Salvador and Bitcoin here, educating, but at the same time, El Salvador helped me a lot, learning and opening up my mind. And the most powerful thing for me here was to start conceiving Bitcoin not as a tool to protect yourself from inflation only, but also to see that Bitcoin can actually work as a payment method. Like, you can go to a lot of stores here and you can buy coffee, you can buy fruit, you can buy veggies, you can buy furniture with Bitcoin. And that's what a lot of people that I know here, they're doing. And that was very eye-opening for me. And then I started learning about the Lightning Network. And I used to be of the belief that the best way to help Bitcoin was to hold it and store it and don't sell it. But now I am realizing that in the developing countries where people are mostly poor, they still cannot store their Bitcoin. So they need to use them, and helping the circular economy of Bitcoin, I think, will accelerate the adoption of Bitcoin, probably even faster than just the buy and hold of Bitcoin. Because, for instance, in the United States, it's very hard to make someone understand why Bitcoin is important or how it can be useful unless you have a 20, 30 hours conversation with them and they're open to the philosophy and the motives behind Bitcoin. By here, people are unbanked. It's not easy for a Salvadorian here to go to their bank and open an account. It's actually very problematic. So when you show people that, hey, you don't need a bank, you can do everything with this, you can control your money, you can send it, trade it at the speed of light any day, it clicks with people. People understand it and they're excited about it. And the other thing that helps people understand why Bitcoin is important here is that not too long ago, here they had a civil war. So when you understand that with Bitcoin, you can take your all property, your all monetary energy, if you want to call it this way, and flee the country, live, a lot of people resonate with that because you cannot grab your house and move if there is a civil war. It's a lot more, it's impossible. So it's kind of more enjoyable to teach Bitcoin here because people get it faster and they're very interested in learning. They're very open-minded. In the United States or in all the modern countries, it's a little bit more challenging because people have their Visa and MasterCards, credit cards, everything is fast. They have a well-developed financial and banking system. So it takes more time to make them understand.
Yeah. Dude, man, first of all, shout out to you, brother. I suspect you're going to see, it's what you said, man. Depending on the elections, what happens, and as these countries continue to increase the taxes to pay for these giant welfare systems they cannot afford. They've been paying this through deficit spending, right? They don't have enough money to pay for these giant bureaucracies, all these promises through taxes alone, right? And taxes are already at a level where if any politician directly says we have to raise taxes for this, they won't get elected, right? What the Biden administration did to raise taxes a little bit is that they had to tell everybody that it was to fix inflation, right? It's an Inflation Reduction Act, right? It's at that level, right? Where it's like, look, whether it's income tax, whether it's property tax, whether it's the most nefarious, the most evil tax of all, which is the debasement of currency, inflation, right? There's really nowhere else to milk. So, but that doesn't mean that they're not going to try, right? Because they did promise their voter base all these things that are for free. Well, they were never for free. They were just taking it from somebody else. And as that continues to accelerate, I suspect you're going to see the rise of more sovereign individuals like yourself voting the most powerful vote that you can ever make, right? Which is voting with your feet. And by doing that, by having this mass exodus of people leaving a lot of the developed countries, seeking a better life. We've seen massive news from Californians leaving California, moving to Mexico City. Why is that? Right? They wanted to maintain their standard of living, but they also didn't want to pay more. So they left, right? And the internet does two powerful things, right? It gives you the ability to work from anywhere. It doesn't matter, right? And it also gives you the ability to use Bitcoin. So now you can move your wealth with you. You can memorize 12 words. You can cross a hostile border. They'll tell you, undress, take off everything. They'll search through your bags. And what are they going to do? It's like, they can't do anything. And that's the ability, that's the power that Bitcoin's going to give you. And I suspect, Moneydelics, you are the first of this new movement that I feel the internet is going to just explode, right? People are just going to say, why am I paying, $4,000 or $5,000 in rent to live in New York City, where if my job anyway is through the internet? Why can't I just live in El Salvador, pay a small fraction of that, live a better quality of life, pay for things I could never afford in New York City? Mm-hmm. I think it's just a matter of time before people wake up to that fact. And then eventually what I believe that's going to do is it's going to force governments to actually provide value for their services rather than the relationship that happens today, which is like, if you don't pay your taxes, you're going to jail and you're going to have to pay them because you have no other place to leave because this is where your job is at. Well, the internet changes all of that, man. So a couple things. We have a Yellow in the audience. He says, how's the internet down there?
So the internet is pretty good in my experience. They are installing, when you get a new plan, internet plan in the house, they are installing fiber optic cables, even if you are not using a super fast, a super wide bandwidth internet connection. And for instance, I have a 20 megabyte per second connection. And we use it heavily for Zoom calls. We never had a problem. There are 5 or 6 people connected to the Wi-Fi, and it works pretty fine. You can see it right now, I suppose. So yeah, also as a service, for instance, the day that installed the internet in our house, it was working fine, and then at night it stopped working. Something happened. I don't know if the storm moved a cable or something. We called the morning after. A team of people was already here installing everything, and we are not in the city. We are actually a little bit isolated we are far from the city. I'm on the beach. So I have to say that the internet speed is pretty good. The connection seems pretty reliable in my experience, and also the service, I have nothing bad to say about it. So internet is great.
Awesome. And then another component, right, is Bitcoin. I think Max Kaiser was the original one that coined this term, which is you don't change Bitcoin, Bitcoin changes you. And the effects of saving and earning in a deflationary currency is insane, right? NVK, and I always bring it up, has this amazing handle. You can go check it right now, called deterministic optimism, right? And think about it. It's common sense, right? In a dollar world, in an inflationary world, you're constantly working harder to earn less money with less purchasing power, right? With the hope that your raises in pay is going to outpace inflation. If you are not making 15% more today than you were last year, you are poorer. That's how it is, right? In a deflationary world, the opposite is true, right? So your purchasing power will just continue to increase over time. Meaning, if you get paid $100, you get paid $100 today, 5 years in a Bitcoin world, that $100 might have the purchasing power of 500, 600, maybe 1,000, right? We hope so. But it's like, that is a deflationary world. Now, why am I saying this? I said all this to preface, Francesco, do you see the effects of a deflationary currency already incepting the minds of El Salvadorians? Do you see a hope there that is non-existent in the United States? One that is being extinguished by the scam money that we call the dollar. Do you see that hope? I see that hope, and I don't even live there, but I see the actions of Nayib Bukele. I see the videos from Bitcoin Beach. I see the optimism about the future. But you're there. Do you see this on the ground?
Yeah, and let me add to that. Not only the problem is that your money lose purchasing power, so you're working more, you're getting more skilled to get paid less. The other big problem is that to get out of the rat race, people get pushed into investing. And what happened is that to keep up with the inflation, they need to look for more and more risky investment vehicles. So not only people lose money with inflation, they're also pushed in doing things that are risky. So it puts everybody in a very tough spot. Now, with the money that cannot be debased by a central authority, the game have changed, of course. And so here in El Salvador, what I am noticing is that a lot of people that move here, and you said earlier I am one of the first. So there are other people that are here that have been here before me. So I'm not one of the first. Maybe I'm one of the firsts making it public or try to build content around it. And what happened is that people that come here, they are well aware of what is going on, and they also save. So my friend James, they also have a YouTube channel, Nick and James, full of great info about El Salvador. He says, what you should do here is you should use the Lightning Network and your Bitcoins to pay. But what you do is every time you make a payment with Bitcoins here, you buy a 5% back, a 10% back. So what happened is that you're converting your fiat to Bitcoin, paying for what you need to survive, and also stacking at the same way, which I think is a great strategy. It's something that I also do. And yeah, so locals maybe, especially in the poor areas, might not be able yet to save and take advantage of the deflationary effect directly on their bank accounts. But people here in the middle class that is very small, or rich people here, and expats or Bitcoiners that move here, they definitely understand saving and they're thinking long term now. So that's why people don't focus as much as buying quick money, so to speak, quick investment here, but they look for long term. Like they look for buying a patch of land and grow their food to be healthy, and knowing that it's gonna take 2 or 3 years before that happen. So that's one of the way I see happening here. This the impact of money that is cannot be debased. And yeah, what else about that I see here?
And I think that you buried the lead there a little bit, right? Which is this idea that it gives you long time preference mentality, right? Whereas in before you were forced to spend. If you're a dentist, a plumber, you make a good amount of income every year. Just to maintain that purchasing power, you're forced to become a part-time investor, outsource that responsibility to an investment bank, which fucking scam, or try to do it yourself. Right now with Bitcoin, it's like, you don't need to do that. Like, you don't need to trust anybody. You could just buy it, leave it there. Your purchasing power increases over time. Opti, you're optimist fields, bro. Does this not make you feel optimistic, brother?
Well, I stay optimistic, Nico, but of course, man, I told you guys over the weekend and when I was down in El Salvador, I could feel the hope as well. And it's very awesome to see, like Money Delic said, to be using Bitcoin as it's meant to be used, as money, and people are taking it. And furthermore, like they just have a cell phone and they're like, yeah, like give me your Bitcoin. I will take your money. It is money. So it's like, I'd love to see it. And furthermore, I just want to echo something that Money Delic says. And me and Nico say it all the time. It's like, there's something about Latin Americans that they understand Bitcoin so much quicker and easier because of, their history of dictators, of their currency being debased. And it clicks a lot easier down there than it does for Americans, because we have been so privileged with our money that we don't understand this stuff. We're so removed from the consequences of having bad money that it just doesn't make sense. And just one more echo, man, like I say it all the time, Bitcoin facilitates the only two votes that matter: voting with your pocketbook and with your feet. This is a feature, not a bug. And of course, man, of course I stay optimistic. I love to see this. And my friend Wine, our friend Wine, he goes down there consistently. He's like, man, every time we come down here, it's changed so much. So like it's moving a lot quicker than we probably would like to see on Bitcoin Twitter, because everyone has high time preference. It's like, why isn't hyper Bitcoinization happening right now?
Why isn't everyone using Bitcoin?
But it's like it's the slow trickle is happening, guys. People are waking up to this, and it is an individual revolution, and no one can force Bitcoin on them. And this is a feature, not a bug. So
Amen.
It is what it is, and I loved what you said about saving money versus investing. Like I try to tell people this all the time, and it doesn't click. But one thing you said, man, it's such a great meme. It's like fiat money. The more you get skilled, the less you get paid. Like, man, that's bars right there. And I just have one question. Are you completely on the Bitcoin standard, or do you still have like fiat in a bank or something?
No, I still have a couple of businesses in the United States, and I get paid paid in fiat. But here it's very convenient for me to swap quickly and to pay. I pay people that work for me in Bitcoin right now, and then I try to tell them, hey, try not to convert them in dollar at your Chivo wallet. Try to use it for things that you need to buy for yourself. But sometimes they do it, sometimes they don't. It's an education process, and Bitcoin, yes, it clicks fast, but it's also a country of, I think, 8 million people that is getting step-by-step educated. So it's not going to happen overnight. Now, we can say that the global situation and the government are kind of helping us of making this a little bit faster, especially for people that they're not completely plugged into the matrix, so to speak. So governments are helping, and at the same time, they are fighting hard right now with all that we have seen happening.
Yeah, no, I think we haven't even begun to fight, but I think that we see it. I think we're starting to feel the first innings as Bitcoin continues to get closer and closer to the market cap of gold. That 100K is also a very strong psychological level. I think you're going to start to see the creatures come out of the woodwork, and try to stop this revolution, but they can't. but only if it's decentralized, and only Bitcoin is decentralized. Anything centralized, which is basically, not basically, all of the shit coins, it will inevitably be co-opted. It's just a matter of time. But anyways, Opti, it's time for the culture, bro. Let's check it out. Daily Culture. Brought to you by SwanBitcoin.com. Swan is the best way to build your Bitcoin stack with automated Bitcoin savings plans and instant purchases, serving clients of any size from $10 to $10 million. Swan incentivizes self-custody, and they also incentivize dollar cost averaging. Spread out that risk. Visit SwanBitcoin.com today. All right. Guys, I want to tell you about Pacific Bitcoin. Pacific Bitcoin is going to be the largest Bitcoin conference on the West Coast. It's November 10th through 11th in Los Angeles, California. It's a 2-day experience leading the way to a bright orange future. Speaker list includes Corey Clipston, Alex Epstein, Lynn Alden, Jeff Booth, Dylan LeClaire, Pierre Richard, Eric Kossan, Mark Moss, Alex Gladstein, Parker Lewis, Dr. Jeff Ross, Nico's on there, I don't know how, and many, many more. You could take advantage of the promo code SIMPLY to get a discount to your Pacific Bitcoin. Also, Opti and I are going to be doing a live Simply Bitcoin from there. You're not going to want to miss it, guys. And that promo code is going to get you a hell of a discount. Opti, what do you have for us today, brother?
Well, first off, Nico, you always ask, why are you on there? It's because you put out epic memes like,
you're against Bitcoin, you're against freedom.
Hey, I'm trying to be humble, bro. Humble. Humility. Right. Something that you don't know.
Whoa, throwing shots. Wow. Okay, I'm going to let that one slide, Nico. I'm going to let that one slide. All right, guys. So
we gotta, bro, it's the bear market. We got to fight.
I know. Yeah, all right. Shouts out to Yellow. Anyways, guys, all right. So first and foremost, we don't speculate on the price here. This is a feature, not a bug, but everyone loves the price movement. Everyone always looks at the price. And so today, I want to, try to spread the wisdom of time in the market beats timing the market. And look, like we see, we got a nice little pump. Everyone's having some fun. Have we seen the bottom? Who knows? Doesn't really matter at this point. But the point of today's culture is we see things like this every cycle. And as you can see here, Mr. Hodl, King Pleb himself saying, narrator, he sold the bottom. And this is the tweet where I see this happening all the time. I don't even know who this guy is, but apparently he's some Bitcoiner guy anyways, or like a philanthropist Bitcoiner guy. And this is a meme that I consistently come across when it comes to my friends, my family, and even on Twitter. And the meme goes basically like this: I'll buy more Bitcoin at the bottom, or whatever I think the bottom looks like. Right now, it just doesn't look like the bottom at all. Just being honest, no pumps. And as Mr. Hodl says, he sold the bottom. So guys, what is going on here? I don't know how many times I have to come across friends and family that say, oh, I will buy Bitcoin at X, like the price is dropping, we're at 20K, like, oh, Bitcoin price is going to go to 10K, Bitcoin price is going to 15K, I'll buy when it gets to that point. And then we do hit that point, and then they don't buy Bitcoin. How many friends did I have at 60K saying like, oh, I will buy Bitcoin at 20K. And then we're at 20K and they continue to tell me the same thing. Oh, we will buy Bitcoin at X lower price. And it's like, guys, we say it all the time. Time in the market beats time in the market. Just continuously save in Bitcoin, continuously stack sats. This is the way, and it minimizes the volatility. It makes your life so much easier once you're in Bitcoin, because you realize that, oh, wow, the price of Bitcoin is irrelevant right now. Infinity divided by 21 million. When Bitcoin does what we know it will do, it doesn't really matter what price the Bitcoin you are buying today, as long as you hold it into the future. So what do we try to tell people consistently? It is continue to buy Bitcoins. And here's the cycle that your normie friends always go. Shouts out to Backpacker BTC, because he put in a perfect tweet, and he goes, your normie friends will finally buy Bitcoin at the top. They will bag hold to the bottom of the dip, capitulate, and finally sell back to the safety of fiat, only to then regret not holding as Bitcoin soars once again to new heights. It's going to be hilarious. It's the circle of life. How many times have you come across this experience with your friends? They buy a little bit at the top, the price dumps, they don't put more Bitcoin in because they're afraid of losing their fiat value. And we tell you guys all the time, just consistently save in Bitcoin, minimize the price of fluctuations, and just stack sats all the way down. And as you do this, the psychology of Bitcoin starts taking over. We say it all the time. Bitcoin changes you. You don't change Bitcoin. And as you go down the rabbit hole, as you continue to stack sats, you start to realize, oh my God, there's something way bigger going on here. As we say all the time, came for the money, stayed to fix the money. This is the meme, guys. As long as you hold Bitcoin, slowly and surely you will start to absorb the Bitcoin orange pill message, and you will realize, oh my God, the real risky asset, the real risky money to hold is not Bitcoin, it is fiat. I don't know if you guys noticed, guys, but the US government printed 40% of all dollars, which means you are losing wealth if you are saving in dollars. This is how the dollar is saved up, or this is how the dollar is propped up. Maybe Bitcoin is volatile on the short term. Okay, we'll give you that. But it is better than being, slow and stably losing your money consistently. This is how the fiat dollar is set up. They have the target of 2% inflation, which means you're losing 2% of your dollar value every year. And now we know that it's way higher than that. The last metric for last month was 9%, which means you're essentially losing 10% of your value in dollar year over year. Absolutely insane that people don't see what the game is because my volatility of Bitcoin. I mean, guys, did you see yesterday over the weekend, Bitcoin, I think, went up like 20% in 5 days. Like, I'd much rather have volatility to the upside than a slow trickle of me losing my wealth. Anyways, if you guys see my Twitter, I have this thread that's been sitting there for a while. It's being a Bitcoiner is hard until it isn't. And one of the things that I put up over there is hodl, don't trade. Like, the art of hodling is easy once you know why you hodl. And I say it all the time. In a world where insane kleptocrats make money printer go burr ad infinitum, a hard cap asset that is verifiably scarce is invaluable. Sell your Bitcoins at your peril. You'll never get them back. Save in Bitcoin. Save for the long term. Pay yourself first, because Bitcoin, you can't make more than 21 million, but they are definitely making more dollars, which means they will continue to make you poorer. So you have a choice. I say it all the time. I capitulate my fiat as fast as I have it because I don't trust the dollar at all. But I understand people out there, they're not as orange pilled, they're not as aggressive as I am when it comes to Bitcoin. And so we tell you guys all the time, dollar cost average, this is the way, guys. As the price goes down, you pick up more sats. Your brain psychology doesn't have to freak out about the price fluctuations, but at a certain point, you really don't even care. You're just like, give me more sats. So I assume you're an average person that doesn't have money just lying around, but if you do, go balls deep. What are you going to do? Hold dollars? Lol. Buy a certain amount every day, every week or month, etc. Remember, and here I've changed the Bitcoin ABCs because it used to be always buy consistently, but I like saying always save consistently, guys. You need to save money. As Money Delic, Francisco said, the fiat dollar is designed in such a way where you can no longer save your money like an average person. You have to get into risky investments just to make sure and ensure that you are not losing value over time. It's absolutely insane that this is the system and how it's set up. All you need to do is save money. Hoarding money is good for the economy. Don't let these fiat economists tell you otherwise. These Keynesian economists tell you otherwise. And shouts out to John Vallis. Look, I've been literally saying this since 2020, and he goes, you, the one with the discipline to sit on dry powder, I hope one day to meet you and learn your ways. I am the same way. I capitulate my fiat as soon as I have it. It's my cross to bear. I don't know what it is, but if I have dollars, even if I try to save them, I just can't. There's something about the psychology of fiat money that when I'm saving in dollars, I have to spend it. I have to spend it on dumb shit. I don't know why. I can't save the dollars. But once it's in Bitcoin, once you understand why you hodl, as I said, it just becomes so easy. It's like it's a void. It's a vacuum in cold storage, and my Bitcoin just stays there and it goes up in value as I shitpost with my friends. So I did this thread, the thread that I posted. I asked this question: what's the one thing you knew before you went down the Bitcoin rabbit hole? And it's never bet against Bitcoin. And this is what I want everyone to try to understand. It's that time in the market beats timing the market, guys. You do not want to be a trader. Look, if you can trade, I tell you, look, if you're a trader, by all means, be a trader. But 99.99% of people should not be trading anything at all. You have a life. Go live your life. Save in Bitcoin. Bitcoin and just provide value to your friends and family and strangers and just save for your future in Bitcoin. Time in the market beats timing the market because, as I say all the time, human psychology is a bitch. And as the price comes down, you're going to continue to be like, oh no, I can buy at a better price. It's going to go lower. It's going to go lower. And then it never gets to your price point. And then you're sitting on the sidelines trying to chase the bag when you could have just been saving in Bitcoin every day, every week, every month, whatever your money income is, you just save in Bitcoin and your life becomes so much better. Literally, Bitcoin changed my life. And all I had to do was save in Bitcoin, continue to double down in my education, and ride out the waves, guys. Go hang out with your friends, go outside, breathe the fresh air. Go create something. Hashtag I am building. Like, guys, provide value, create things, and you will be rewarded. Become a producer. Stop consuming all that trash. Stop spending your money on stupid trinkets. You need to save for your future. This is not the time to be gambling in shitcoins. This is not the time to be gambling at the casino. You need to hold assets that aren't going to get debased because I don't know if you've noticed, guys, but these freaking psychopaths are stealing your wealth slowly, and this is the game that they have designed against you. The matrix is rigged against you, and you need to save in Bitcoin. Nico, go back to the screen share. I'm gonna plug 2 articles here. I'm not going to cover them. You need to do homework first. And the first one is one of my absolute favorite articles, Everyone's a Scammer by Michael Goldstein. Play the music. Get enthralled in the whole scenario. You need to read this article. You need to share this article far and wide to your new pre-coiner friends because this is the mentality here that you need to have while you're holding your Bitcoin. Because if you don't have this mentality, you're going to capitulate your Bitcoin as soon as possible for the non-risky asset, which is the dollar. And it's absolute trash, guys. Bitcoin is the risk-off asset. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. Yes, it's still messing with, traditional markets, but that's just because people don't know this message. And the second one, guys, I put these in the notes or in the description, says I'm hoarding Bitcoins and no, you can't have any. Do not let these Keynesian economists tell you that hoarding money is a bad thing. You need to hoard money for the uncertainty of the future. This is literally what money is designed for, so that you can save for the future, so that you can have, money on the side for unpredictable reasons. When it's a rainy day, you have money on the side. But the fiat system is designed so that you capitulate your money as soon as possible. You buy things that you don't need because you understand inherently that your money is losing value. And if you don't have a good asset, if you don't have a lot of money where you can buy houses and yachts and all this stuff, you are losing value. I am almost positive you guys are just an average person like myself, like my friends and family, and you don't have freaking millions or hundreds of thousands of dollars sitting aside for you to, buy houses, buy yachts, and get in even more risky investments. Just save in Bitcoin, go live your life, make sure your Bitcoin is secured in cold storage, and your life becomes infinitely better. Produce, build, provide value to your friends and family, and save in Bitcoin. It is literally this easy, guys. I don't know why you like to make it complicated, but saving in Bitcoin is the way, and you don't have to complicate things. Yes, Bitcoin price fluctuates, but number goes up over time. There's only going to be 21 million Bitcoin. It's simple 11th grade math, as Greg Foss says. There's an infinite amount of dollars out there, and they will continue to print more dollars and divide that by 21 million. It's simple math. If you hold any amount of Bitcoin right now, it's going to be worth a lot in the future. You just need to save and hold on to those sats because everyone's a scammer and they all want your Bitcoin. And you are usually the biggest scammer because you sell and you capitulate that Bitcoin for something that you really don't need. Change your thinking. Save in Bitcoin. Saving in hard money is the way, and your future you will thank you.
Boom.
Anyways, Nico, jump in.
Bars, bro. Bars. Oh, man. Okay. Dude, so much to unpack there. Yeah, man. Every single time, never spared. Every single time I've sold Bitcoin, I've regretted it.
And also,
go ahead.
Can I add something to what he said?
Of course you can.
You don't only need money that cannot be debased, but I think people are underestimating what kind of problem the world is incurring into. So you need money that cannot be confiscated. That's the other thing that people are really not thinking about it.
And inflation is a form of confiscation, I might add, right? That is an indirect form of confiscation. So Yeah, and I think and I think Bitcoin is this pill of truth that eventually governments are going to have to. No one was asking those questions before. It's like inflation. It's like, oh, they talk about it as if it's just like it's part of nature. It's just normal. And the reality is no. It is literally, it's a scam. It only happens because they print more money. It doesn't happen for any other reason. It's not Putin. It's not all these things that they would like to blame it on. It's because they printed more money. They're debasing the currency. And exactly what you said, Opti, you could spare yourself from that. We don't sell hopium on this channel like a lot of the other channels. Okay, we like to focus on signal. We put our sources always down in the link description so that you could come to your own conclusions. You could read the same things we're reading. We like to focus on what is actually happening here, and is the separation of money and state. Shitcoiners, on the other hand, they're more interested in getting Lambos. And if you get into the trading game, you might win sometimes, but the majority of people that I've spoken to, and I've been doing this for quite a bit of time, they always get wrecked. And most people, like 99% of people, would have more Bitcoin today if they didn't sell, if they didn't buy that thing they didn't need, if they didn't try trading it to increase their Bitcoin position. And they would have more Bitcoin today, to use Odell's famous line, if they just stayed humble and stack sats, right? So it's really as simple as that. There's a reason that Odell has been saying that for that long, right? We all learned the hard way, I might add. Opti learned the hard way. I learned the hard way. But it's part of paying your price of tuition. Anyways, Money Delix, you want to chime in before we get to the meme review?
Yeah, I just want to say, just to give perspective to the audience, I used to be one of these people with crypto, with staking passive income. I learned the hard way why that's wrong, that's risky, it doesn't work. Michael Saylor was one of the people that kind of opened up my mind, because I just try out to argue with him logically and I couldn't. It just would dismantle every questions or a rebate that I would have to his point. So I am also in the process of learning. You guys have been in Bitcoin for years, probably. I have been in crypto, sadly, for 2 years, and in Bitcoin, finally, I've learned my lesson. Satoshi, thank you. Sorry, it took me so long. And this year. So yeah, we all make mistakes and we all learn from those. So
yep,
beautiful.
Exactly.
I don't want to cut you off, Nico, but like this is why I go so hard on this, is because I see like me, Nico, we do the same cycle, and if we could just protect people from themselves by giving them the signal up front, like you don't have to go through all the pain that we have to go through. You know, like I say it all the time, you know, you don't have to trust us, but like we've paid our dues for this information, and it sounds simple, but it's simple for a reason, because you're going to wreck yourself.
You're going to wreck yourself. Absolutely. Yep. All right, guys, let's get to the meme review. Daily meme review.
Brought to you by Bitbox 2 Bitcoin Only Edition, a hardware wallet by Shift Crypto. Crypto-like cryptography. It's secure, it's open source, and it's so easy your mom can set it up. Self-custody is the revolution, and the Bitbox makes it simple. Do not leave your Bitcoin on an exchange. Order a Bitbox today. All right, guys. Well. All right, before I get into the meme, as Nika always says, tweets are the bullets, but memes are the artillery in this memetic warfare, guys. You are on the front lines. Continue to meme, continue to shitpost, because what are you going to do? Just save in Bitcoin and wait till hyper Bitcoinization.
And join our Telegram group. That's where you can link us Bitcoin memes to review. Go to www.t.me/the Simply Bitcoin channel. And that's where you can link us memes and we'll review them. Opti will review them.
Life is memes and memes is life. And all we have is time as we wait for hyper Bitcoinization. So what are you going to do? You're going to make memes. Okay. Anyways.
Memes.
I know. The ETH merge is coming and everyone's freaking out about it. Well, I really love this meme by Sunny Decree, and he goes, can't wait for the ETH merge. Pre-merge Ethereum, post-merge an empty wallet. That looks like the Ethereum logo. Good one. Good one, bro. And then the next one. This is an old meme, but I saw it pop up on my timeline again. And since I'm on the theme of dunking on Ethereum today, I had to add it because some people just still don't get the message. message. And so this is Free Slave 06, and he goes, don't say we didn't warn you. Ethereum merge ETH hashtags to catch all the shitcoiners. And it's a play on the Matrix. You know, we got Neo looking at the lady in the red dress, and Neo's the Ethereum, and the lady in the red dress is the merge, number go up plus flipping, proof of stake, shitcoin, and Morpheus as Bitcoin maxis. And he goes, look again, and it's Agent Smith, regulatory capture. We've covered this before, but man, when it's in meme form, it just hits different, man. I hope you guys understand that Bitcoin is the way. And this next one by our friend Greg Zaj Dose. And this one's got a very special place in my heart, considering that I'm absolutely colorblind. I am so colorblind. It's absolutely insane. So anyways, look at you at Sailors. Like, if you can't see the number, you have a cold. I can see these. You have a headache. You need sleep. You need water. And you don't have enough Bitcoin or have low blood sugar. And I literally, when I saw this morning, I'm like, wait, like, is it because I'm colorblind, or is that the actual meme? Anyways, the next one, shouts out to Chairforce. I think this is something that we should all aim for at this point, considering we are all on the front line as Bitcoin memetic officers. And he just does a heart, and he goes, when you see your Bitcoin meme in a WEEF article as an example of extremist content. Tag side notes, he hasn't had his meme in a WEEF article yet, but this is the goal, guys. And since I'm dunking on the World Economic Forum, I'm going to just continue on this rabbit hole. This is Paul Mission 21. I'm not sure if he's a Bitcoiner yet, but this is a great meme. So play on the Hunger Games. The World Economic Forum wishes every district good luck with the coming Hunger Games. Oh man, that's dark. That's dark. Anyways, shouts out to my buddy Joe Rogers. We hung out this week, and I love you, bro. And it's back on the WEEF Great Reset memes, and he goes, post Great Reset. Me considering my options carefully. Violence with a rock. Violence with a gun. Oh my God, we are not condoning violence. All we're saying is shit's gonna get crazy if the WEEF has their way.
It's a joke.
It's a joke. I know we gotta make the asterisks and the you know, whatever. Anyways, shouts out to Rope. I fucking love this meme, Rope, and Rope's been killing it. My boy Rope just absolutely getting all his memes stolen. So shouts out to you, bro. That's how you know you got good memes. Anyways, he says commies down tremendously bad, and Nico's wording, collectivists down tremendously bad, and it's an anime, and he goes, if our struggle was hopeless, their propaganda would be unnecessary. Keep going. Oof. This is the way, guys. If we weren't winning, they wouldn't be trying to shit on us so hard, which means we are winning the meme warfare. And this is just the way, guys. Continue to meme, continue to be on the front lines, continue to spread the sound money gospel, because the world needs Bitcoin. And we are here to fix the money. And it's only a matter of time until the whole world is on the Bitcoin standard and the whole world feels the effects of sound money in their lives. So with that note, shouts out to BitMegs again, giving me all these cool stickers. I got a Don't Tread on Me sticker. Let's go. All right, Nico, what's your score? Oh, yeah. Wait. Hold on. Guys, put your meme score in the chat so that we can cover it before we get out of here. Nico, what is your score?
Put your meme score in the live chat. This is why you have to watch the show live. Do it right now. Make Opti and I feel very uncomfortable while we read the scores. I thought Opti would never get uncomfortable. That was until the weekend episode. Opti was the one uncomfortable. It
wasn't the memes, though.
And I was in my jam. And I saw Opti's like, what is going on? He pulled a Nico. Anyways, spending too much time with me. Do you think Opti was the only one with the soundboard? Well, that has changed. That's right. You guys are gonna be hearing yellow more often than not. Okay. Money Delix, what do you give those memes, brother?
Let me see if I can get into the camera. A salt lamp.
Himalayan salt lamp. Those are awesome. All right, Yellow first. I give these memes a beard brush. Are you trying to say something, Yellow? I give that one bag of Satoshi specialty blend coffee from El Salvador. Very, very proper, Mr. Robot. Score. Okay. A strawberry. Red Rope. Scoring those memes mine and Opti's chorizo breakfast and off.
I had chorizo this morning, Rope.
Z Logic. I give those memes an emptied USD savings account. All right. I get what you're trying to say. I give those memes my new Bitcoin Day t-shirt. Awesome. All right, guys, that was some awesome scores before. No, I'll tell you guys in a little bit. Anyways, there's a pleb site. Let's check it out. Pleb sites. Brought to you by CipherSafe. Don't be that person that stores their Bitcoin seed on paper. Paper is prone to water damage, fire damage, dog attacks, everything. Your seed could be eaten by dogs or cats or animals if you store it on paper. You definitely want to store your seed on steel, and there's no better place to do it than the CipherSafe. Get yourself a Cipher wheel or a Cipher grid today. Visit ciphersafe.io. Oh, I missed one by no today. I give those memes my self-defense rock. It's very good. Very good score. Anyways, Opti, I forgot to put it in, so I put it in during the show.
Yeah, I noticed.
Simply Bitcoin Unfiltered. It is the written version of this show. It was pure signal based ass blog. It's completely free. All you got to go is go to simplybitcoin.news. Check this out. Let's check out some of the latest articles. El Salvador's attacked because they're winning. Cheers to the disagreeable. Hidden theft. The inflation tax. And yes, we always put the receipts because
Guys,
we are.
I don't mean to cut you off, Nico, but share this hidden theft, the inflation tax, guys. It makes our point for us really well in written form, and the normies need to know that they're getting robbed out there by holding dollars, and we're trying to do everything we can to explain this to people, hence my culture segment, hence the written stuff. People need to understand they're getting robbed, and they need to hold assets that don't allow debasement and censorship resistant money. Like, this is the way, guys. This is why we do it.
Bars. Anyways, I want to give a very special shout out to representltd.com. They are a clothing sponsor. Opti's wearing the slick black hoodie. I'm wearing the basic with the basic text white hoodie. Very elegant, very clean. I wear this to the airport all the time. It's stylish, it's comfy, and you can take advantage of the promo code down below to get 10% off. Represent LTD. I also want to give a very special shout out to our awesome guest, Money Delix. Thank you for coming on the show, brother. We really appreciate it. Where can people find out more about you and what you're working on?
Well, thank you for having me first. Second, people can find out more about me and El Salvador on my YouTube channel, Money Delix, or also on my Twitter account, again, at Money Delix. And what I'm working on now is I'm setting up interviews to get ready for the Adopting Bitcoin conference that will be held in San Salvador. And it will focus mostly on the Lightning Network and why that's important and the circular economy. So if you guys are interested in that, I want to find out more about that, go on Twitter, reach out to me. I also have my referral code as an influencer. I will be there at the event. If you want to meet me, I will be covering the event. So yeah, get in touch if you want to learn anything about El Salvador or the Adopting Bitcoin conference.
Hell yeah. I actually ran into your channel. That's why I invited you on today. Guys, I can't recommend this channel enough. It is on the ground vlog type of style. Sometimes he has interviews about what it is actually living in El Salvador, living on Bitcoin. Very exciting stuff, man. Thank you for joining us on the show. I'm going to put you backstage for a little bit. Anyways, guys, that was Simply Bitcoin. Thank you for joining us for an episode. It's the Monday episode. I thought we would start it off strong. Guys, the number one thing you could do to help this channel is share the video, spread the signal, hand out those orange pills. And Simply Bitcoin, we try to do that for you. We try to do the research for you. Of course, if you really liked our channel or our video today, you could hit that like button. If you really find what we did valuable today, consider subscribing. And of course, guys, you know the deal. We will see you tomorrow for a brand new episode of Simply Bitcoin.
Which one's the best crypto asset? Well, Bitcoin's the best crypto asset. Okay. What's the second best? There is no second best.